Welcome back to another episode of Trench Tales. For this episode, we finally head back to the Caribbean, where we cover some important history that nobody knows about. But despite the lack of publicity, this is a major problem that Trinidad has to deal with. So get ready, because this is a good one. But before we get into it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. So let's get into it. We start off about 3,000 miles southeast of the United States, in the beautiful Trinidad and Tobago. In the underbelly of Trinidad, dancehall artist Rebel Six emerged as a mysterious presence, captivating attention by releasing powerful diss tracks, targeting his adversaries. Allegedly, one of his targets was Prince Swanee, reportedly once affiliated with the Rasta City crew, who has since embarked on his own venture called Z-Tech. Another individual in Rebel Six's crosshairs was Toppy Boss, who was allegedly linked to the Muslim crew. Rebel Six's powerful lyrics resonated deeply within the nation, carrying a merciless and deliberate message. The clashing artists produced an entirely new wave of music that swept the island like an unstoppable storm, more specifically categorized as Trinidad dancehall. Once soothing beats of reggae and dancehall transformed into a dark symphony of murder music, becoming a weapon wielded by the rival crews.
Another bloody night has plagued the Port of Spain division with 3 murders and a spate of shootings in the Laventille area. Reports are that in St. Barb's around 9:30 on Wednesday evening, Dexter Polskin Joseph, an alleged leader of the St. Barb's arm of Rasta City gang, was killed.
The consequences were devastating as the infectious musical epidemic gripped the nation, plunging it into a never-ending nightmare. Trinidad's murder rates skyrocketed, gunshots blazing in the streets, a chilling testament to the power of this unholy marriage between music and violence. The results, ranking the country just below Afghanistan on the crime index. In the midst of this chaos, Rebel Six became a target of a sinister plan. He was ambushed by his rivals, driven by betrayal and jealousy. Before we dive deep into the wicked and wild world of Armageddon, let's rewind the clock and unravel how this war between cliques actually started. Trinidad and Tobago, once colonized by the British Crown, boasts a unique ethnic mix, but has faced historical problems with divisions along racial lines. In 1962, it gained independence from Great Britain and became a sovereign nation, eventually declaring itself a republic in 1976. Since gaining independence, Trinidad and Tobago has been marked by a divide between two political parties. The People's National Movement, a leftist liberal socialist party, has been championed by the Rasta City crew of the Rastafarian culture, advocating for equality and fairness for all. On the flip side, there's the United National Congress, UNC, a conservative party favoring free markets and limited social services. They basically oppose the PNM in every way they can, going beyond mere political differences. Unlike in most places, political parties in Trinidad are deeply divided. Neighborhoods align themselves with either the PNM or UNC, creating bitter rivalries. Even neighboring streets become enemies if they support different parties. So if one neighborhood is PNM and across the street is UNC, they have to be bitter rivals. This holds especially true in the capital city of Port of Spain, where things have spiraled out of control. Since the 1960s, it has become one of the most dangerous cities worldwide, largely because of intense political rivalries. But in recent times, the rise of Trinidad dancehall murder music has added to the chaos. Artists from different camps diss each other, and citizens have normalized these violent messages, using them as fuel for their own violent activities. Initially, children had the freedom to choose their own political beliefs, but over time, it shifted to being determined by the neighborhood they grew up in. So if you hailed from a UNC neighborhood, you were expected to align with them. This toxic situation brings us to the heart of it all. Welcome to Port of Spain, unquestionably one of the worst places in Trinidad. The region itself is divided into two closely neighboring sections. First, you have Laventille, an area originally built by freed slaves and then developed by the UNC. A breeding ground for the mobilization efforts of an Islamic organization, once led by a 6-foot man by the name of Abu Bakr, who in 1990 made a controversially bloody attempt to seize and temporarily overthrow the country's democratically elected government. On an ordinary afternoon in Trinidad and Tobago, families gather for a local Sesame Street show when the TV screen flickers, revealing the imposing figure of Abu Bakr, standing tall at 6'4". Dressed in a flowing white robe, his face radiates a menacing intensity. Abu Bakr makes a shocking announcement.
6 p.m. this afternoon, the government of Trinidad and Tobago was overthrown. The Prime Minister and members of the cabinet are under arrest.
Gunshots ring out, interrupting the chaos. Panic erupts as an armed figure in camouflage fatigue storms in the country's parliament. For 6 days and 5 nights, Trinidad is held captive by Abu Bakr and his 115 devoted followers under the banner of Jamaat al-Muslimin. This audacious coup marks the only militant Islamic uprising in the Western Hemisphere, claiming 24 lives and leaving a lasting impact on Trinidad. And you know what? Bakr never faced conviction despite attempting to arrest his own country's prime minister. In the aftermath, the country takes a dark turn. Annual murders escalate from under 100 to a staggering 600 as deadly gang warfare engulfs the nation. And for this reason, the People's National Movement was infuriated. The residents of the community across the street were far from being supporters, to put it mildly. This would be Beetham, allegedly home to the formidable Rasta City Gang, a tight-knit group of PNM loyalists. Many Afro-Trinidadians felt neglected by the government fueling their alliance with Rasta City. The gang emerged as a resistance against the control exerted by the Muslim gang. The Muslims controlled the majority of the area's weapons, drugs, and wealth, while Rasta City has deep Rastafarian roots originating from Jamaica and their reverence for Emperor Haile Selassie, whom they consider the embodiment of Jesus. It is ironic that the current crew deviates from the religion's pacifist and non-materialistic beliefs, often showcasing their long, lavish gold chains of the highest carats. Remember this guy? Fast forward to the 21st century, and Trinidad's landscape has drastically changed. Two dominant gangs, the Nines Muslims and the Sevens Rasta City, have transformed into umbrella organizations sheltering 42 offspring gangs, comprising both Rasta City and Muslim units. Amidst the vibrant music scene in Trinidad, two names stood out, captivating the nation with their exceptional talent. Prince Swanee, mesmerizing audiences worldwide with his chart-topping hit, Catch 22, and Rebel Six, a highly favored dancehall artist. What many may not know is that these two artists were once close friends, and allegedly even a part of the same Sevens Rasta City camp. Growing up together, they collaborated on songs and shared dreams of using their musical gifts to escape the streets. However, tragedy struck when Rebel Six became disenchanted with the way the Seven camp was being led by its authorities. This discord reportedly caused a rift between Prince Swanee and Rebel Six, turning once loyal friends into bitter enemies. The falling out was fueled by corruption and negative vibes infecting the Rasta City camp. As a result, Rebel Six decided to part ways and eventually joined the Six crew, reportedly led by the infamous dancehall entertainer Squash. His move to align with the renowned Six camp, originating from Jamaica, sent shockwaves across Trinidad as he introduced the Six movement to the island. The transformation from friends to foes was a result of the deep-seated issues within the Rasta City camp, and their divergent paths led them to opposing factions. The clash between Prince Swanee and Rebel Six, now representing different camps, added a new layer of intensity to Trinidad's music scene, making headlines and sparking intrigue among their fans and followers. As the crew started to shift amidst the turmoil within Rasta City, a brutal tribal war erupted, plunging the Seven Gang, Six Gang, and Muslims Gang into a deadly cycle of violence. Night and day, they ruthlessly attempted to assassinate each other, making the streets as hot as ever. Realizing that things had spiraled out of control, the top artists from each group decided to initiate a peace meeting on July 4th, 2020. The Sixes, Rasta City, and the Muslims were poised to set aside their differences and sign a treaty, a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness. It was a chance to extinguish the bloodshed and restore harmony to a city teetering on the edge.
From today onwards, there are no groups, gangs, or organizations, informal or otherwise, by the names Unruly ISIS or Rasta City in Chaguanas or any part of Trinidad. The former gang members are changing their ways, and they ask for the public's forgiveness and help.
However, as the appointed hour approached, Rebel Six chose to betray the truce. Suspicion gripped his mind, convinced that the peace meeting was a treacherous trap, a cunning ploy to outsmart him and fake reconciliation. By deliberately snubbing the gathering, Rebel Six sent a chilling message to the Rasta and Muslim camps. They interpreted his absence as a deceitful sign, a signal that the beef remained far from over, and he craved war instead. The shadows grew darker on that fateful Sunday night, enveloping Rebel 6's residence in Viceroy Crescent, literally less than 24 hours after the peace meeting. Lost in the virtual world of video games, he remained oblivious to the impending danger lurking just beyond his open front door. Unbeknownst to him, his sanctuary was about to be violated by an unfathomable darkness. Suddenly, the tranquility of the night was shattered as two figures silently infiltrated his home like footsteps of stealthy Navy SEALs. Allegedly. Startled by a sound, Rebel 6 momentarily removed his video game headset but dismissed it as nothing, placing it back on instead of reaching for a weapon. Unaware of the intruders, he turned towards the door and felt a chill run down his spine as he confronted the looming presence before him. In a horrifying symphony, the walls echoed with the eruption of gunfire. Bullets cut through the air, their deadly purpose homing in on their target. The assailants unleashed a relentless storm of bullets, approximately 20 finding their mark on Rebel 6. Amidst the chaos, a relative stood frozen in terror, silently witnessing the nightmarish scene. Miraculously, fate spared them, leaving them unscathed as the assassins swiftly escaped the premises. Loud sirens screamed through the dark night while the cops raced like lightning. They scooped up the injured Rebel 6 in a hurry, zooming him off to Arima Hospital. But fate, being heartless, had already made its move. As they raced ahead, Rebel 6's life slipped away, stolen by the merciless hands of his assailants. In the aftermath of the harrowing attack, silence descended upon Viceroy Crescent. A heavy shroud of mourning and devastation. The night once filled with hopes and dreams now carried the weight of tragedy. A vibrant voice in the music world silenced forever. The grim announcement came from the lips of the authorities. This was no random act of violence. Gang warfare had stained the streets with blood once more. As the city grappled with grief, an insidious question lurked in the shadows. Who orchestrated this sinister plot? The investigation for answers began as the puzzle of motives and perpetrators unraveled. Departing from the Sevens, Rebel 6 inadvertently painted a target on his back, igniting the flames of vengeance in the hearts of those left behind. Amidst the tangled threads of their shared past, a haunting question by fans lingered. Could Swanee, possibly once a trusted companion, be driven by jealousy that festered like a venomous serpent? However, I doubt this was the case. In the backdrop of this risky dance between rival crews, the Muslims, a mere adversary on the surface reportedly held secrets of their own. Whispers of Rebel 6's desire to break free from the Sixth Group to join the Muslims circulated, casting shadows of suspicion that it could have allegedly been members of his own Sixth Group who placed the hit. As the truth remained a puzzle lost amidst the murky depths of the underbelly. One thing was certain, Rebel 6 had become a pawn in a dangerous game, entrapped in the clutches of the Trinidad gang culture, his fate sealed by forces beyond his control. In the midst of this tale, the truth still waits in the shadows, awaiting for its moment to be unveiled. Until then, let us know what you think down in the comment section below, and we'll see you guys in another video real soon. But if you've liked our content, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. As it may just be a click for you, it means a lot to me. Thanks for watching. Be safe out there.